For BamaCentral.com, I'm Katie Wyndham here with Blake Byler and Joe Gaither in State Farm Stadium after UConn just won the national championship over Purdue, clearly proving they were the best team in college basketball this year by a final score of 75-60. Joe, we saw Alabama on this court play this UConn team 2 nights ago, play them closer than this Purdue team did. What did you see from tonight, or what does tonight tell you about the way Alabama played on Saturday and maybe what their path to the championship game would have looked like if they weren't up against this buzzsaw that was UConn?
Well, really what I noticed is the way that UConn forced Purdue into many difficult shots. I mean, it was Zach Edey or it was a very tough shot. And Zach Edey had a tough time himself. Always 11 or 14 of 20-something. So not really an easy time. I think UConn really showed how tough they are defensively. You heard Nate Oates talk about it after the game on Saturday, how many non-rim twos that UConn forced Alabama into. And Alabama did get a lot of threes up. What were they, 8 of 10 in the first half, 7 of 11 in the first half, but really were unable to keep that going. I just think Dan Hurley's a defensive mastermind, and he's got these guys dialed in, and it showed again tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you look at what Alabama did. They were down 4 at halftime. They were tied with 12 minutes to go, and at that point in the game tonight, Purdue was down by 13. And so I think it kind of shows that Nate Oates had a good game plan. Alabama did all they could. UConn is just clear and above the best team. But really, in regards to Alabama basketball, what happened on the court tonight is not the biggest news of the day or the night. It's what Nate Oates tweeted before the game. Blake, what did Nate Oates reaffirming his commitment to Alabama? Just what does that say for the program moving forward and kind of the state of Alabama basketball going into the future and their possibility of getting back to a Final Four?
I mean, I think it's huge. We were sitting, me and Joe were sitting right down there in front of the, right before the game, and I got the Nate Oates tweet notification basically saying that he's committed to Alabama basketball and that he's going to stick around in Tuscaloosa. He's not going to be going to Kentucky given their opening. It's really hard to sum up into words what that means. I mean, it means everything to this Alabama program. We've seen this program reach new heights this season that they've never met before, reaching the Final Four for the first time in program history. And this 5-year run under Nate Oates has been probably the most successful 5-year run the program has ever seen. With the Final Four, you have 2 Sweet 16s, 4 combined SEC tournament titles. And so when you put all of that together and think that Nate Oates is going to be here even longer and that there's more that he can do, there have been reports of, boosters making a commitment to Nate Oates, potentially getting a higher NIL budget, things like that. Nate Oates is going to be committed to this program, and I think that shows that the program is committed to him as well, with him making the decision to stay at Alabama and Tuscaloosa. So there's no reason to think that he can't get back here. There's no reason to think that Alabama doesn't have a chance to be in San Antonio next year in 2025 and in April to be playing in another Final Four. Not to say that those are the expectations for next year's team, but the foundation has been laid for Alabama to be competitive and to be a team that has a chance to get to this thing every year with Nate Oates as the head coach. Obviously, we have some more things to figure out with the roster as far as this offseason goes, but with Nate Oates at the helm, Alabama is going to be competing for SEC championships, competing for Final Fours, and potentially even competing for national championships as long as he's there.
And I think the national buzz around the program is going to continue to grow. Even just tweets I've seen since the game ended, Alabama is one of the favorites already to win the national title next year, which we chalked after Alabama lost on Saturday that we don't know what the roster is going to look like next year. There's going to be a lot of movement in the next couple of days. We can't tell you that. We don't know what it'll be, but it's just the nature of college basketball now. But I think a lot of Alabama fans can sleep easier tonight knowing that Nate Oates has said that this is the program he wants to be with long term. He said that in the past, but just with the news around Kentucky and other job openings that may happen in the next couple of weeks, that Tuscaloosa is where he wants to be, and that's encouraging for the Crimson Tide if this is a place they want to get back to. But we just want to thank y'all so much for following our basketball coverage all season long. But that'll wrap it up tonight for our last BamaCentral Courtside of the year. Thank you so much for watching.